I love education, and I've always been like that. People don't realize like home care is so important.
Your clinical cases before and after are just mesmerizing.
I want it to be a science-forward esthetician. There's a misconception that you have to use so many actives to dry out the acne. You guys also made really great quality machines that are not going to put us in debt.
First off, you look amazing. I wanted to tell you, you look super fresh, super young, super nourished, and it looks wonderful. How do you
so much better, honestly.
so good.
I lost about 80 pounds.
Ooh, for like what period of time?
About a year. It took about 13 months. So I want to lose maybe like 10 pounds more. That way, if I fluctuate here and there, it's okay. You know?
What about the physical activity?
So I work out about 3 to 4 times a week. I switch it up between, I really love, there's this yoga class.
Hot yoga.
More power. It's hot, like a hot yoga, but they incorporate weights in there. So
I know. Really cool. They call it sculpt.
Sculpt, right? Yes.
I did it. This is the way when you leave the yoga place dripping wet, and you have like you cannot come there. I came a couple of times with just my mat, and it was because of the wet. You have to have the towel.
Yes, no, like I love that workout. And you know, by day 1, you're like, okay, I feel really good. And then by day 3, like I'm so sore. It's incredible. So I do that, and I do boxing, and then I have a personal trainer that I lift weights with. So
oh my goodness,
I have like those 3 combined for workouts.
This is not even part of my interview, but it's not even part of what I was going to ask, but how do you balance it all?
Yeah, so I just I have been working with this amazing trainer. So he specializes in like MMA fighting, and he's a coach for that, and he is an MMA fighter himself, and he has just transformed my workouts, and just kind of, and also like my mindset has changed too, and with the health, with just being, you know, the health and the wellness, and I've gotten just a lot more motivated just with daily life. Like now, like both my kids are in school now, and then instead of staying home and like just laying in bed, I'm like, oh, there's a 9 a.m. workout class, and I'm like just going and working out in the morning while the kids are in school.
And it gives so much energy, right? So you feel,
oh my gosh, so much more energy.
This is so true. I mean, this is something when you feel exhausted and feel like I just want to lay down, and then you memorize. Then actually, if you go work out, then you'll have more energy. So it's kind of
no, absolutely. And it's helped, you know, with everything, like my mindset, my positivity. And then it just, it has been like bleeding into my business too, because like my clients are seeing me more active and more happy. And they're like, you're inspiring me to like, you know, do more skincare or go work out and just go do stuff. So it's just been like a circle of positivity that I've loved.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm so happy for you. And you are already motivation. Thank you for doing this. With my story, when I just got my 3rd baby and I gained 30 pounds. No, more, 4. I've gained 40 something pounds during the pregnancy. And I'm right now on the stage when she will be 3 months, very, very soon, 3 months old. And I have 23 extra pounds. And it just for the short period of time, it feels a lot I didn't get used to in this position when nothing fits, and I have like 3 clothes I can wear and everything else. And I said no to buy new stuff because like I'm gonna lose it, but there is no clothes in my wardrobe. But it's so you have to find this kind of source of motivation to just get it back together and start doing the good for you.
Oh yeah. What I've learned is like mindset is everything. And I have used that like mind over matter analogy just in my everyday life when it comes to my skin, my health. And then, you know, what I'm trying to educate my clients on is like, no, like if you just go into something just with like a positive mind and a positive outlook, like the result will come to you. You just have to have that mindset. And you know, I can't, or I won't, or I don't know. You just can't have that in your vocabulary, and you just have to have that positive outlook, and it'll happen.
Yeah,
So
I mean, this is the truth of life. Whatever you kind of use this, it always works towards you. This is awesome. Thank you so
absolutely.
much. I'm so excited we are doing this. This is
I
so
am too.
cool.
This is gonna be so fun.
I've got a small research in you, Rosanna, and I mean, from what I've known you as our ambassador, from your clinical cases, from what you bring to the industry, is one thing. So it's like a big project of how people see you from the side. Not everyone know your story. Not everyone know that you've been part of the plastic surgery, of the medical practice, and you've got that knowledge, that expertise, and then now we are trying to complement it all with this beautiful soothing vibe, and that you want to implement it into super holistic, that's still scientifically proven approach, and this is beautiful. I mean, I'm so inspired by that, because this is something I like, what I'm trying to do. So I want to know everything you want to share with this perspective. Can you just give a brief, let's say, what your followers and your clients would need to know about you, about your practice? Because this is much more than just being, let's say, skin therapist. It's a whole
Wow.
project.
Yeah, so a little bit about my history. So I got licensed in 2017 and I was very fortunate. Like I applied everywhere and I got lucky and I got an interview at a medical spa in Burbank. Now, when I came in and I met Crystal, who was the manager at that time, and I'm actually still very good friends with her till this day, love her to death. She became a client. It was two doctors, it was a plastic surgeon and the wife who was an anesthesiologist, and they owned the whole entire building. So upstairs was the OR plastic surgery center. Downstairs was the medical spa, who the anesthesiologist, Dr. Blanca, who ran. And I interviewed, they hired me right away. And I was really fortunate. And I love education and I've always been like that. I always like to ask questions and that used to get me in trouble when I was little because I'm a very curious person. So when I started working, I was like, okay, well, this is really interesting. So I started learning non-medical procedures like with Botox and injectables. Like I used to love sitting in with the doctor and watching her inject, hearing her speak about just different laser treatments. And then she didn't know a lot about the skincare aspect. So then she would rope me along and then I would help the client on aftercare after their lasers on how to treat their skin. Because when people don't realize like home care is so important, especially when you're spending money on advanced treatments like this because it's expensive. So you need to have that nourishment at home to not only, to prolong those results. So
Mhm.
I got really like I learned a lot about that side. And then I was like, I would love to it was like if the surgeon would ever let me, like I would really love to sit in on his surgeries because as we age, there's only so much that non-surgical procedures can do.
Mhm.
So I would sit in on his surgeries. I would watch him like he did mole removals. He specialized in facial plastic surgery,
Mhm.
so I would watch that and has scar removal. He's worked on like a lot of botched cases, and I got to see the surgery sides of things and just learn about that. And I was there for 2 years and I was just like a sponge. I absorbed everything and I learned everything. And I'm very, very grateful to them
Yeah.
because that's just how I got my start. I got to work on all sorts of clients, different age ranges, different backgrounds, ethnic backgrounds. And I just got exposed to that. And I think that's really helped me once I was able to branch out on my own because I got that experience and I got that education. And I'm a big believer for estheticians, like to work for somebody else at least for 6 months
Mhm.
because you get to learn and hone on your craft without that added pressure of being a business owner. Because once you branch out and you open your own business, there's a insurmountable amount of pressure and stress that comes with that. So, I always tell estheticians like focus on your craft first and get good with what you want to do. And if you whether you want to niche down or you want to, dabble in different things, really get experience and
Mhm.
hone that craft first and then, open up your business let's say like a year later. You get
Mm-hmm.
to learn what not to do and what you like to do in terms of having a business. So I got my start like that. I knew that I've always loved science and I've wanted to be a science-backed, I wanted to be a science-forward esthetician, but also bringing that spa element to my practice because I specialize in extractions. I
Mm-hmm.
love extractions and I've been like that since beauty school and acne and just helping people with their skin, with inflammation. So, but because extractions and dealing with acne is a very vulnerable, uncomfortable place to be in, I want to still bring those spa elements. So when they come in here, I focus on like getting them comfortable and getting them relax at first with like my touch, with a little bit of massage, just to relax their nervous system a bit. So then when we do get to the more clinical style of the treatment, they're not so stressed. I
Yeah.
want to calm and keep them stressed. And then there's a technique with extractions, like you really want to, loosen the skin and
Mhm.
massage really helps with that. It really helps softening the oils and the softening the skin. Extraction prep is very important for a good, clean out session, is what I
That's
like to call it.
awesome. Rosanna, you
So,
just answered the following six of my question that I
well,
was going to ask you.
yeah.
But this is, I mean, this shows you as a truly passionate person. That's where you love what you do. You don't just do it because, for example, it brings money or brings clients. You truly enjoy the process. How?
Honestly, if I didn't have to pay bills, I would just have people come in here and be like, "Yes, I'll extract you. I'll do your
This is
skin."
so
Like I really
cool.
don't care. I love it so much that, I wouldn't care if people didn't pay me. I just really love what I do.
Let's just skip all of my script, all of my questions, just go as
Yeah,
it goes.
yeah.
Tell me, for example, talking about your status and the level of extraction queen, and this is huge, and I totally agree with you because your clinical cases before and after are just mesmerizing. So tell me, and let it be an advice for the esthetician. In what
Yeah.
cases you would say hard no for the extraction when clients are coming to you, and then you'll see them I will be able to do it, this and that. Or, for example, when they come to you, yes, like awesome, we are doing extractions. And what areas would you skip at the very first session when you just start working with them?
Yes. So when a client comes in, if they come in, first thing I ask them, I said, are you comfortable with extractions?
Mm-hmm.
I build up that reputation at this point that when clients do book with me, they kind of know they're knowing what they're signing up
Mm-hmm.
for. The only time that I wouldn't feel comfortable extracting them is if they tell me I'm in so much pain.
Mm-hmm.
Like my face just really hurts. Like I'm in so much pain. So then I would pivot and be like, okay, then, and I would just educating them and making them understand and giving them realistic expectations is very important. So I'd be like, okay, well, since you are in pain right now and, let's do a treatment. Like, let me help you bring down that inflammation first.
Mm-hmm.
Bring down that inflammation first. Then if you come to back to me in a week and we'll clear you out. I have things in my back bar that just I know for a fact that are going to help with that inflammation.
So the pain would be caused by inflammation. What if they still have inflammation? So, for example, you see clients with acne stage 3 or 4, like clearly super inflamed, but there is no pain.
I feel comfortable extracting them.
How,
Absolutely.
how from your experience, how is the process of recovery is happening in this case?
So, like in terms of aftercare, like what I would recommend.
Yeah. And how
Yeah.
often? Because sometimes when it's super inflamed and there
Yes.
is extra traumatizing, the recovery can take longer and the healing would be more difficult.
Yes.
What are your recommendations to
So,
make it maximum smooth?
benzoyl peroxide is incredible for inflammation, even at a 2.5%.
Mm-hmm.
Putting them on benzoyl peroxide for aftercare will really bring down that inflammation in the skin because the benzoyl pushes that oxygen into the follicle, and when oxygen's present there, acne can't really thrive in that environment, so it immediately just helps with that inflammation. I also recommend for my clients just to utilize some icing, and it just has to be very simple, just a few, a couple minutes will just help bring down that inflammation.
After
And then
the home care
after
routine. Mm-hmm.
home care, humectants, your beta glucan, your glycerin, just keeping the skin hydrated is very
Mm-hmm.
important. there's this misconception with acne that like, that because not everybody is oily and
Yes.
acne prone. A
Yes.
lot of times I have a lot of clients that actually are pretty dry,
Mm-hmm.
and dehydrated and acne prone. So having moisture in the skin is really important. And, there's a misconception that you have to use so many actives to dry out the acne. And, that's the complete opposite. So when I tell clients and I'm having them use hydrators, they're like, they get nervous. I'm like, I promise you, when your skin is hydrated and there's moisture in there, you're going to notice a huge difference in the inflammation and the tone and the texture and in the feel and the pain. So utilizing that aspect, and then mandelic acid is incredible
Because of the
for
size of the molecule, right?
because of the size of the molecule. Also, it's more gentle
Mm-hmm.
on the skin,
Then
and you have the antibacterial and antimicrobial aspect with
mm-hmm.
mandelic acid. So
Let's, Rosanna, talking about that, because I mean,
yeah,
we've all been teenagers and the sulfur masks and all the dryness stuff. I actually recently figured out that people still, young people, those who don't know what to expect and they just want to dry it up completely. There are
yes,
some people still using toothpaste, which is
I know,
to dry up acne.
I
So
know.
if we can, and it can be like a separate episode from this podcast,
Yeah.
let's bust through the myth of the drying up the acne to make sure you will treat the acne this way. Because even myself, back when I was in high school, there was the goal to dry it up completely, and it was other country, and we have a separate it was the mixture of sulfur
Yep.
with the mixture,
Like
and
clay.
you will apply it all over the face, and then it will dry up completely. It's gonna be
Yes.
cracking, itchy, pain,
Yes.
even more acne after. So let's make sure now we are all clean. Let's, if you want to share the stage,
Yeah.
how it's done, why moisturizer is so important, why drying can bring to even worse condition. So then everyone knows, because it's still
Yeah.
happening.
So, our skin has a pH, right? So to stay, and our skin needs to be lubricated at all
Yeah.
times. So what happens is if when you're drying out the skin, you're getting rid of the skin's natural oil, and then that's going to disrupt the microflora and the microbiome in our skin. So what's going to happen is that when you dry out too much, your body's going to produce more oil. And when you are an acne prone person, you shed about 5 times faster than somebody who isn't. And when you are, more oil in the skin is going to be more shedding, you're going to have more acne. So when your skin is balanced with your oils and just it's at a balanced like pH level, you're going to notice your skin is not going to produce excess oil. And that's what's happening is when you're over drying, you're going to start to produce excess oil, surface oil in the skin. And then it's going to just cause more clogging. So no, like you need moisturizers, you need hydration and hydrate. You need humectants in the skin.
Exactly.
It's really, really important. And there's so many different hydrators and that you can do. I personally like beta glucan and glycerin versus like hyaluronic acid,
Okay.
but there's hyaluronic acid in everything nowadays.
I just think that it's a bit different mechanism of action. So, for example, if glycerin will create this film to protect from drying out of the moisture, it's like, this is what I like to explain, for example, why you still need your sebum glands to work, sebaceous filaments and all the stuff, why it's healthy, because this is the kind of creating the film, a fatty layer film to make your sweat glands producing sweat, which is water, liquid, to be on the surface of the skin, so you're not drying up completely. That's why glycerin is super fun. Just a little bit of it in as an ingredient of the serum.
Exactly.
Way to
Exactly.
create this film. This is I'm so.
Oh, I love glycerin. I love beta glucan for humec. There's so many, on like in formulation. And another thing that I always try to tell estheticians is like, really study ingredients, because when you know ingredients and when you have that knowledge on first of all, how the skin functions on its own. The skin as an organ, you need to know how it functions, number one. Number two, you need to know ingredients and how that ingredient is going to function in the skin, whether it's lactic acid, glycolic, mandelic, even green tea, like and different antioxidants. You need to know how that's going to function in the skin, how it's going to benefit, how the depth, where it's going to hit in the epidermis. And, when you have that knowledge, it's going to give you the creativity to create amazing treatments. And,
Awesome.
and you're going to be able to really help your clients.
Oh, Rosanna, I love talking to you. This is so beautiful. Okay, tell me, for example, from your perspective,
Yes.
when would you use glycolic acid? What skin types, what skin concerns?
So I love glycolic acid for people that have a little bit more mature. So like in your 40s, people that are struggling with pigmentation. I love glycolic acid for that. I actually like lower percent glycol for people that have rosacea. I
Mm.
love glycolic acid for rosacea,
To
subtype
calm
1.
down the inflammation as well, right?
Absolutely. Even
What
just at
about
a 3 to 4% glycolic acid is beautiful for that.
What about, let's say, Mandelic? I've got the concept. I know that Mandelic is actually rising how popular it gets. Before it was kind of calm because salicylic was all over. And now Mandelic is getting more and more popular. What about,
I love mandelic acid for all forms of acne, and
yeah.
I love it for people of color because
Uh-huh.
it's that larger molecule. So it's just a little slower release when it goes into the follicle. And
Yes.
then mandelic is a natural tyrosinase inhibitor. So when not only is it going to help with the acne, but it's also going to help with the post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation and erythema.
Yeah.
So it tackles that aspect. And then lactic acid, I love lactic acid
Tell me,
for
if you compare salicylic and lactic, which one you
yeah,
like
so
or
salicylic is great for people that are actually genetically oily
yes.
because it's the beta hydroxy
Yeah.
acid, it's oil based, it'll penetrate deeper, and it's really great for people that are actually genetically oily.
Or
Um,
combined on the T-zone, right?
yeah, and then sal is great for, it does reduce inflammation in the
Mm.
skin.
Yeah.
So, when you know ingredients, you can honestly like combine these acids together.
Yeah.
Like I do that all the time. I love lactic acid for dehydrated skin, dry, dehydrated, and lactic is also really great for non-inflamed acne as well. Like I love like lactic and glycolic mixed together for non-inflamed acne. It's chef's kiss.
I love
So,
lactic also for the more adult acne for people who have
oh yeah. Oh yeah.
35 plus and you still have acne, and this is the key to success because it's also a little bit of this beautiful rejuvenation and hyperpigmentation, not just acne. It's
Absolutely.
like complex.
Absolutely. No, I
Nice.
love
This is
that.
so
So,
cool. Rosanna, can you tell me about your brush? I know that you have, first off, it's gorgeous. It looks beautiful. Second,
yeah.
besides just the fact that it's different sensory experience, it also changed the procedure, right? So you are using it for
Yes.
a bit better process performance. Can you tell how did you come up with this design, when you use it, why you like it? Because I've been seeing it online and it's gorgeous.
Thank you. So I loved the idea of starting off a cleanse with with a brush because not only for that sensory experience,
Mm.
but like it just feels so good on the client. So, and then it was kind of gave me a way to like create cocktails. So I do that all the time. Like I'll customize cleansers and I'll mix different cleansers together with like serums and then
Mhm.
just create that cocktail on the skin. But what was happening is that I was buying all these brushes and they were breaking down on me. And I just wasn't liking, just the handle. I didn't like the bristles. A lot of the times, like my cleansers weren't whipping properly. I wanted like a just really cloud-like feel. So I, was creating content with that. And then a friend of mine who's named Josh, he owns Agent RX. He creates a lot of, he just started doing a lot of like pro esthetician products. So he created a mask that is a collagen clear mask that it's a patented formula that he came up with that just clears that will you can put under LED and it just really reduces that inflammation in the skin. And I was creating content with that, like with the brush. So he called me one day and was like, "Do you want to create a brush?" I was like, "Yes," because I'm not liking anything that's on the market right now. So we just like, I knew what I wanted. I wanted a brush that had a very specific shape for cleansing. I wanted the bristles to be soft. I wanted them to be malleable. I
Yeah.
wanted them to be able to to just feel really soft on the skin, but also provide a good cleansing mechanism. Then I also wanted the handle to not break down.
Hmm.
So when we created Cloud Brush, we made sure, like with our manufacturer, that they put this like coating on the handle
Mm.
that will, so when you are doing, when you're cleansing and you're sanitizing, it's not going to break down the wood. So we have a very special coating
Yeah,
on that
like
handle.
protective layer.
Exactly. And then,
Nice.
there's a coating just on the entire brush itself. And then, our bristles, our goat hair, and they're just really soft and really malleable. And we
Nice.
tested so many different things, and we came up, and then the cloud brush just came about. And you know, it's so versatile. You can use it for cleansing, you can use it for masks
Yeah.
and all that. And then him and I are actually in the works of creating a very specific mask and serum brush that I'm
Yes.
so excited to use because I'm
Oh,
going to be
yes.
with my Zemits serums. It's going to be
Yay.
perfect.
This is so
So,
awesome. I mean, this is so smart and so thoughtful because people who are not in practice, who are actually not using that, they would not
yes.
know that there should be protective layer of this coat protecting it from
Oh,
disinfecting,
yeah.
sanitizing. Good job. Awesome. And it looks beautiful. Next
Thank
question
you.
is, it creates the most beautiful video content. That's another point. So you have to have some kind of items when you are shooting as a content creator, as an influencer in our industry 2025. Everything needs to be cut on video or on photo, so it may be potential reel. So I also think that everything that you create needs to be, I call it TikTokable or Instagrammable.
Yes.
So it
Yes.
needs to be have this aesthetically pleasing appearance, and this is what you did, and it's beautiful to see how you
Thank
mix
you.
this.
Thank you.
It's beautiful. Can
Thank
you
you.
tell me, what do you think about the oil cleansers and emulsification? Because this is now getting so popular, mostly B2C, mostly as the final users when they use the oil cleansers, and then everybody expects blackheads just pop out, and then if they don't, everybody are confused. So this is now
Yes.
a subject. What do you think of that?
I love oil cleansers, but for very specific people. I personally don't like oil cleansers for people that have inflamed acne,
Mhm.
just because the oil brings heat to the
Yeah.
skin. So I don't use oil cleansers on inflamed acne. However, though, I do use oil cleansers in my treatments for people that have non-inflamed acne, or even to people that are just on the more drier side, because it helps me when I'm massaging into the skin. It helps me manipulate the tissue
Mhm.
and get the oil the oil glands working. So
Yeah.
when I go in for extractions, it actually makes extractions a lot easier. I personally love oil cleansers that have great that emulsify
Yeah,
really
yeah,
well.
yeah. That's
I love
actually.
that.
How do you get to the point of emulsification? Because there is one trick when you first apply the oil cleanser on the dry, like making it
Yes, you
dry
have to
and
wet your
then add
fingertips
that.
a little bit, and you have
Yes.
to work in that water to get that emulsification. But
Yep.
some oil cleansers don't have a lot of emulsifiers in them. There's a special like way to formulate that.
Mhm.
And some brands will do it that way. They'll have
Mhm.
emulsifiers in there. So when you are getting that water activation in there, that's where you get that emulsification. However, though, oil, like you're not gonna like it's not gonna remove blackheads. That's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
not
yeah.
the purpose of it. It's just a cleansing mechanism.
Yes.
It's a way for oil and oil, like oil likes oil, and it just helps break down the dirt and the debris for the day. So, but not everybody needs an oil cleanser to in order for you to get an effective cleanse. It's really a personal preference. There's so
So
many
if, for
cleansers out on the.
example, so sorry, if, for
Oh no,
example,
no, it's
you
okay.
do the double cleans at home, so it's not
Yes.
necessarily, again, from what you feel it's better. It's not necessarily need to be oil first and then doing like something
No, you
jelly
can
or.
honestly like if you want to do a double cleanse at home, you could do a double cleanse with twice with the same cleanser if you wanted, as
Yeah.
long as your cleanser is not stripping. And that has to do with like how many surfactants are in your cleanser.
Mhm.
If you're cleansing your skin and if you're rinsing and if your skin is feeling a little tight and a little like that really squeaky clean feel, that actually means that your cleanser is a little too drying for you. But yeah, you can just you can do a first cleanse with cream and then go in with the gel-based cleanser,
Mhm.
or vice versa. It just
Yeah.
really, it depends on you and depends on what you like. I just personally don't like oil cleansers for people that have inflamed acne. But then once the inflammation is gone and your acne is kind of on the path to clearing, then yes, you can incorporate an oil cleanser in your routine. No
Yeah.
problem.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, talking about, I want to jump in a little bit into the high tech and all the kind of the technology, because this is where the industry is kind of leaning towards, especially more and more years. And
Yeah.
I actually just got my call yesterday with Miraya Sanchez, who runs the school, and she's saying that it's like mandatory. I mean, now it's getting, she thinks that very soon in future, every school would need to have as more modalities and technology as possible, because it's kind
I
of
hope so. And I think
rising
what she's
standards.
what she's doing is incredible. And
Yeah.
I hope she opens a school here in California because we
Yeah,
really need it.
that would
Um,
be awesome.
Oh, yeah. I definitely, I really do think there needs to be a reform with our program. I don't believe, I really believe that our program should be at least a year long, if not 2 years, because the skin is so complex.
Yeah.
And we're dealing with with skin issues and concerns, and I really do think that we should have our program be longer, because as soon as you get licensed, we're spending so much money. Not only do we spend money on our program, but then we're spending so much money on continued education that
Yes.
we need to have a longer program. I think every state should offer a master aesthetic program. There's only 5 states, I believe, right now that has a continued education where
Mhm.
you can get that master esthetician title. I think it's Washington D.C., Washington State, Utah. What else? There's like 5 of them right
Yeah,
now,
no, not too
and
many. It should be
there's not
definitely
too
more.
many. And
Mhm.
where they can go in and get that master esthetician title. And I think it should be everywhere,
Yeah, I
really.
agree.
Um,
What about from your perspective? I wanted to ask you because before we were talking about acne,
yes,
oxygenation from the inside. How
yes.
often would you use high frequency? Jump into high frequency because when I explain people how high frequency works, it's everybody know that kills acne, which I never say kills. It just no no no. It creates uncomfortable condition for bacteria to multiply. And then, for
Yeah.
example, how would you explain your clients? How often first you're using the high frequency on acne, and then how you explain your clients so regular people can understand the effects of the high frequency on their skin.
Yeah, so it's pushing that argon into the skin, like ozone basically, and then that's helping. It really just reduces that inflammation,
Mhm.
and it creates circulation in the skin. So I explain it that way. I actually don't use it as much as I used to,
Okay.
but I kind of miss it because I loved having it. I would incorporate that, and then I would then use LED. I love LED,
Yeah.
blue and red.
Yeah.
Um, and I use it a lot in the studio. And high frequency is a great tool too for clients to use safely at home if they,
Mhm.
because it's not very expensive, and then they can do it at home to help, as that
Maintain.
aftercare.
Yeah.
But it really just creates that circulation in the skin and just helps really reduce that inflammation. And I don't like to say it's like killing the
Yeah.
bacteria, because there's other ways, that we're doing it with
Without
home
killing
care.
anything.
Exactly. So it's basically just
Awesome.
reducing that inflammation and creating circulation in the skin.
What about skin icing? Because I see the cold right there, right
Yes, I
behind you.
love my Zemits Cool Restore.
Can you
I
tell
use
how,
it
where
so
you
much.
use it, how you use it, and let's say
Yeah.
how you figure out how to implement it in the protocol so it's safe, though it
Yeah.
still brings this beautiful skin boosting effects on the skin.
Yes. So I use the Cool Restore, the Zemits Cool Restore, which is basically it's a cold hammer. So what that means that it stays consistently cold the whole time. And I love it. I do it as soon after extractions. Like after I'm done with extractions, I disinfect, and then I apply the Firming Genius, which I love. You guys did such a great job in
Because
formulating
it's
that,
no
because
non-comedogenic, right? It's like zero.
not only that, I literally think of it as like like a 2-in-1. Not only is it a conductive gel, but it is like a mask because
It
it
is
has
a
such
mask.
great skincare.
We would just rebrand it. Unfortunately, now it's a misconception because when people read conductive gel, there is like, okay, just the gel. It's actually so much more inside.
So much more. It has
Yeah.
such great, the formulation is beautiful. So
Awesome.
I apply Firming Genius, and then I go in as soon as that with my Cool Restore, because I want to start after I'm done with extractions. I want to go into healing mode, and
Mm-hmm.
that starts with I do
Cool.
some cryo I do my cold. I like to reduce that inflammation on the skin. I like to get that circulation going, and I
Yeah.
do that, the comfortable can handle it for at least 5 to 6 minutes
Mm-hmm.
of that cold, and you just see it just brings this like beautiful like glass look to the skin. Even
Mm-hmm.
though I just extracted the heck out of my client, it just brings this gorgeous like glow and just reduces that inflammation, and then just kickstarts the healing process for
Awesome.
me. And that's why when my clients leave my studio, you can't really tell that they just got a lot of extractions done, because I start with that. I start with
Mm-hmm.
the Cool Restore, and I love it. And then if now I even do it on clients who have rosacea, or that come in
Mm-hmm.
and that are really reactive, and I start with that. I I cleanse with them, and then I'll go right into, even like I'll do like a nice sudsy cleanse, then I'll just go in with some ColdRestore and use it as a glide, and just to kickstart that healing and reducing that inflammation. If you can
Awesome.
inflammate, we all have inflammation in our skin, so starting off at reducing that is going to give you a beautiful outcome.
What's your most favorite protocol? Talking about anti-acne, I know that you are a big face reality fan, which I am too. This is beautiful. So can you
Oh,
share
I love face
how to
reality. I love
combine?
climate. Yeah, so I love cocktailing.
Yeah.
Goes back
Awesome.
to like ingredient knowledge. So I love Face Reality has some incredible chemical peels. So I incorporate it with my Zemits Verstand all the time. So what I'll do is I'll like, if the client has non-inflamed acne, I love to do 2 passes with the HydroDiamond technology to
Yeah,
prep the skin. And then I'll go in with a Face Reality chemical peel because
nice.
those peels are self-neutralizing. So I don't like to do anything after because I want the peel to be able to do its job and to penetrate. But and then I do the chemical peel, and then I love to at the end do a nice coat with Oxytite
Mm-hmm.
from you guys, or Revita Ox with the oxygen infuser.
Mm-hmm.
Because I love the oxygen infuser because serums already have that small molecular size to them, but then when you put it in the oxygen infuser, it kind of turns the serums into a nice fine mist, and it just
Exactly.
creates a beautiful coating. And I
Yeah.
love to finish off with that. If I'm using chemical peels that are not self-neutralizing, then I love to start with that, and then I'll go in with the HydroDiamond to create a nice like polish
Mm-hmm.
on the skin. So there's just different ways depending on what I'm using to create like protocols. I'm not big on protocols. I switch it up all the time. But I
That's
have
good.
I have like a general thing that I like to do, but I also love to switch things up depending on what I'm using.
So
But
it's
yeah,
based on the skin condition, skin concern, and skin reaction, and you determine
yep,
while you're doing it what would be your next step.
exactly. Exactly.
Nice. That's why you
Um,
actually need to have variety from what to choose. So saying like it's not just one modality, it's multiple modalities, it's different skincare brands, it's different skincare product types. So you then mix and
And that
match.
is why I love you guys as a company, because you guys really, not only do you like, and that not because I'm an ambassador for you guys. I was actually using I had the Dermalux machine.
Before.
I returned my very expensive machine, and I switched to you guys, and before I even became an
Yeah.
ambassador, and I just fell in love with the Zemits philosophy and the technology. You guys have really made it easy for the solo esthetician to be versatile and to have creativity in the treatment room. And I'm all about that. I am a big believer in creativity because when we forget that like our hands are the most important tool in the treatment room. And we are getting used to relying on machines.
Yeah.
And we're kind of like letting the machines run us when we need to be running the machines. And we forget that you need to be able to use our hands to create treatment. And when you get that concept, then you can bring in modalities. But
Yeah.
you guys made it easy in terms of like you have variety. So I use my Verstand in so many different ways because there's 8 different attachments on there. I'm able to be creative.
Mm-hmm.
So not only do you guys gave that creativity back to the solo esthetician, but you also made it a way to where we're not going to be in debt after.
Yeah.
Oh, my
So sorry.
laptop died. It's my fault. My
Oh,
laptop died.
it's actually left 1 minute before my meeting
Oh,
because
okay.
I thought it's my fault. And I was like, oh
Okay.
my goodness, on the most interesting part is
I
all.
know, I'm so sorry. Okay, like I was saying, not only did you guys, you gave the creativity back to the solo esthetician because every machine, you just made it a way where it's so versatile
Yeah.
for us to just be able to like be creative. But you guys also made really great quality machines that are not going to put us in debt. And there's a lot of companies on the market that are just, these machines are costing more than a car at this point.
Yeah.
And it's not feasible for a solo provider, to do that. So, and that's why I love you guys as a company. I think that not only is your philosophy, but you made the solo esthetician, you gave kind of power back to the solo estheticians in order for us to have good quality devices without breaking the bank, but then
Yeah.
also letting us be creative because of, how you guys utilize different modalities in the treatment
Thank
room.
you. Thank you
So
so much for saying that. It's actually I'm super happy that you feel this way. This was the
absolutely.
initial sent behind the scene that no one sees. But when we just came to, it is international market, it's international business, and each country works differently. And for me personally, it was very interesting to adapt the concept towards the US industry compared to European. And this was something that the customization and creativity, and I'm so happy that you are saying that, because this is something I'm fully inspired of. The more you have to options to combine, customize, play with that, implement your knowledge, implement your own point of view into the protocol. It's not just exact step by step, because it's not like basic school. It is already your professional.
Exactly.
And you create your own story, and every client is different, so it cannot ever be the same protocol. But I'm happy that you feel that you like it, because sometimes,
oh my God, I love every single from my I started with the Dermalux Pro and I loved it, and then I started, then I switched over to the Verstand, and it gave me so many different more attachments that I'm able to, just mix and match in my treatment room, just depending on what I'm, who I'm working on. Then I have the ColdRestore, and then you guys are just also really innovative in your devices, and you guys, you have everything, whether it's body, face, like you guys just have it all, and they're good quality machines that are not going to put us in debt. So
thank you. This is what we're working on. There a lot of good stuff actually is coming by the end of this year, and the next year as well. It's going to be a couple of new technologies coming in.
So excited.
Hopefully it's going to be cool for everybody. Can you tell, Rosanna, this is super important. I mean, about your expertise. We got it. This is the huge passion of yours, and you can truly feel it through the screen. I mean, not even seeing you in person, I can feel how much you love what you do. From the perspective of content creator and influencer in the market, this is completely other story, because when you graduate the medical school or cosmetology or aesthetic courses, then you are trained how to do the treatments. No one train you how to make the videos, edit the videos, how to be an actor, how to speak, how to boost your charisma, how to sell, and how to overall make yourself comfortable in front of the camera. Can you share some tips that you learned throughout years that let you be where you are? Because I'm a big believer that no matter how good you are in what you're expert at, if no one sees you, no one can know how can you help them. So either you like it or not, you have to record these videos. You have to create content. Let's just share something what you've learned, because I have the same story. I mean, I've learned a lot. I didn't want to do it at the beginning, but
so I'm a little different in terms of, I actually have a Bachelor of Arts in journalism, broadcast journalism. So I've always been pretty comfortable in front of the camera. For me, the hardest part was just like the editing. I cannot stand editing, to be honest with you. I can film and I don't mind. I can talk and I can educate all day long, but coming down to the editing is what's a little exhausting. But you have, if you want to show clients nowadays, it's a visual world, and social media is so huge that you kind of have to just, get with the program on it. For me, it's all about being authentic. And, what you see is what you get with me, and whether you vibe with me, I might not be for everybody, and that's totally okay. So kind of just, it's all about, I just tell like people and other estheticians are like, I really don't want to like show my face or be online. And I'm like, just be you. You're going to find your people, and, you just got to go on there. And I always tell them, just do it from an educational standpoint, just educate. You don't have to put on a persona. Like, you don't have to be the funny esthetician, or if you don't want to be funny, you don't have to like do dances and do like TikTok trends and dances as like, I don't do that. Like, I'm not one to do lip sync dance videos. It's just not me. So, you just have to be authentic to you, and you're going to find your people. You're going to attract those clients that are going to match your energy and match your vibe. So for me, it's just being authentic and just, showing up however you want to show up. There's no right or wrong way to do social media. You just have to do it and be present and be consistent. It's just really about consistency at this point.
This is so true. I agree 100%.
Yeah. And there's so many things now in terms of technology that will help you. Like, I use Planoly a lot to like kind of see what my feed will look like to keep it cohesive. And then you can schedule posts that way. So you're just not sitting on, you know, and doom scrolling all day long online. You know, just you put in the content that you want, you can write out your captions, and then you can schedule your posts, and it just does it for you.
Exactly.
Instagram has become a way where it's like, I think of Instagram as like my portfolio. It's a little bit more clean and more cohesive. It's more aesthetically pleasing. But I love TikTok because TikTok, you can be raw, gritty, unhinged. They don't care about what your feed looks like on TikTok. They just want to see you. You know, you don't have to be all dressed up and look like aesthetically pleasing. Like they just want that raw and grittiness to the person, and they just want to know you, and very authentic. And I love TikTok. So I always tell estheticians, you know, if you don't want to show your face on Instagram that much, fine, then do TikTok.
You
know, do TikTok or vice versa, whatever, you know, whatever you're going to be comfortable with. You just have to be consistent. You have to be present.
This is so, I mean, 100% agree, because majority of times I see that lots of estheticians, they share their awesome before and after. They share their treatment procedure, but there is never themselves. And this is kind of sad because people also need to see them. But again, I 100% agree with authenticity. You will kind of attract your clients.
Yeah, and you know,
they come.
Nowadays, people are not like, it's a very different world now with our economy, and like people now are being more mindful about who they're spending their money with. So if you're just showing your before and afters, yes, great, you have good results, but the person, you know, working on skin is a very vulnerable position to be in, you know, and we are providing a service, you know, that's where people are coming in and they're being vulnerable with us, and like they want to know you. They want to know that when they come in, they're going to not only be in good hands, but they're going to also be heard, and they're going to be taken care of. And like, this is a very much like an energy exchange, you know, like vice versa. Like, you know, when you come into my space in the treatment room, like I want to make it an environment where it's inclusive and it's comfortable. Like I want you to be able to come in here and just relax and let me do my job. So when you leave here, like you're happy. And then, you know, it's just an energy exchange. It's just, you know, it's a very vulnerable position to be in. So the client wants to know that they're going to come in and they're going to spend their hard-earned money with you. They want to know that they're going to be safe and comfortable. And that's why I like to show my face as much as I can online, just because when new clients find me, that they, you know, will like, okay, I like her, I vibe with her, I'm going to book an appointment.
Plus,
that's essentially
how they already know you. So when they see you often online, they come and there's like, oh,
yeah, when they come in, they like new clients, and they come and they're like, how are your kids? How's Lorenzo? How's
they already know it all.
Yeah, they just kind of know, they just know me at this point. And then it just makes it easier. And you like, I think of my clients as like my family, and I, you know, treat them as such, and I just want them to be comfortable when they come in.
What about before and afters, though? Because I know that before and afters is an amazing tool to kind of showcase your expertise and what exactly you can bring to the table.
Yes.
Do you sign the consent form with every single of your clients? And how many of those would tell you, no, sorry, I don't want my face to be shown on Instagram?
So in my consent, in my facial intake form, I have a section where it asks you if you are okay with your before and afters or videos being posted for promotional use. So it has like a yes box, or it has no, or it has only for progress. And I have only for progress because that's important. I really think that I think every esthetician should take before and afters, and you just let your client know. If clients assign no for me in my form, I let them know for liability purposes, I am going to take before pictures and after, so we can keep track of your progress. Because I need to know, I want to make sure that what we're doing is working. So I need that visual. And then also it's good for them. It's good for them to see. So I take pictures no matter what. But when they say no, those are the ones that I just don't share online.
I got you.
But what I do though, is that after we do get them to a point where they're just so happy with their skin, and I show them their before and after, but like, look what we accomplished, you know, because this is a team effort. Not only did I do this, you did this as well. It's a team effort. And I showed them like, look, and then I asked them again, now that you're at this point, now that your mindset has changed and you are more comfortable and you have that confidence, are you okay with sharing your results? And they say yes. A lot of the times they change their mind.
Feel comfortable, right?
Because now they feel comfortable and they change their mind. You know, I've learned where like, don't be afraid to ask, because the worst thing that they're going to say is no.
Yeah.
So I ask, how do you feel now? Are you okay with it now? And you know, in California, verbal consent is legal. But I still think though that
It's
everybody
better.
should have it as written form. Yes,
Yeah, I
absolutely.
agree.
So it's already on my intake form. So when they book an appointment with me, that's already, signed. And then depending on which treatments you do, you can also have a separate photo and video release that you can have them sign. But I think every esthetician should be taking pictures of their work just because you want to make sure that what you're doing is working, and then for liability purposes as well, to cover you in any case.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Rosanna, question. I want to summarize what we've done, and that's beautiful. You are one of the most interesting persons to talk to, obviously.
Thank you.
Super interesting because of your passion, because of your expertise, because of your practical knowledge. It's just beautiful. What would be one piece of advice that you can share with the beginner esthetician who would want to go solo, but they are maybe not sure, maybe concerning, and they are in the struggling position, not knowing what to do?
So first thing I would do is save. Save a little bit of money first, because I didn't do that. I didn't do that. Save some money to where that you have enough to cover at least 6 months of rent. That way that stress is gone for you. Save that money. And then look into your state, make sure you have all of your licensing taken care of. Not obviously your aesthetics license, but establishment license. You're going to need a business license in your state and in the county that you work in. Every state is different in terms of regulations. So make sure you have all your licensing, and then make sure you find a CPA that can guide you for like tax purposes. So like in California, for example, they don't recognize like corporation or LLCs for solo estheticians, but every state is different. So find a CPA that can guide you for tax purposes, whether you should create an LLC or an S corp or you're a sole proprietor. And though making sure you have that business side tackled is important. Then after that, get a booking site and a website. Booking site, website is key. And nowadays, like with Vagaro and Square are two booking POS systems. Not only are they booking and POS systems, but they also have website where you can, do a plug and play. You can create a website through that. So everything is just cohesive. Shopify is also fantastic for that. So have a website and a booking site immediately. And this is strictly for like aesthetics. When you get into hair, it's a little different. It might be a little harder to have online booking for hair, but for skin, if you're going to do skin waxing, lashes, permanent makeup, things like that, you want to have a booking site and a website, because that you want to make sure you want to make it as easy as possible for new clients to find you and to book with you. Because if it's going to
TikTok?
Instagram, yes, and social media. Really, if estheticians that are not solo yet, that are working for somebody else, you should be doing your social media at whatever job you have.
Yeah.
You should be starting your social media journey, taking pictures, taking content at whatever job you have. And if that job tells you that you can't do it, no, you need to have your own, social media presence of some sort, and you need to build that social media there. You can even do it while you're in school.
Yeah.
As long as the person you're working on gives consent, you can be, just getting all that content and saving all that documentation. So that's very important. Having all those aspects in the beginning is just going to make your life easier once you do go solo. Being organized. I wasn't like that in the beginning. I started off, didn't like that. And I got lucky because I had family backing for me. But I am one of those people that I can say, like, I'm not going to say I'm self-made, because if it wasn't for my mom and for my husband helping me in the beginning, I wouldn't be where I am. And I have no problem saying that. But, if you don't have that, just having some savings where you can at least have 6 months of rent covered, because that's going to be a huge stress releaser for you.
Those are so beautiful and practical advices.
Yeah.
Because normally it's like mindset, what to think about and what to dream about. But yeah, practical is super.
No, you have to have both, really.
You have
to have the hustle. You have to have the mindset and the hustle, and then you have to have your ducks in a row and be organized and practical. So it goes hand in hand, really.
Yeah. It cannot not coexist. Yeah, 100%.
Exactly.
Awesome. Rosanna, this was so good.
Thank you. It was so nice talking to you.
Let's do it again and again and again. If you have any questions, we can cover it maybe next time, so it's not going to be overwhelming.
Yeah, no, next time I would love to, like, for people to know why you started Zemits. You're such a huge part of the development of the machines, and I don't think people know that. Like, they, you know, you're the face, like they see you at the shows and stuff, but you have such your hand. Yeah, no, but your hand is so involved in the development of the devices and the machines that I feel like people should know that.
Oh,
and you also have a very very interesting background as well that I would love for people to know.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it again.
Subject of the next time, so it can.
Yes, absolutely.
I would be happy to share, and actually, it's also the synergy of your passion, my passion, united together. That's why there might be results of very effective device, because I'm passionate about the technology and about the science of the skin. You're about practice and science of the skin. We have lots in common. Then I always listen for your feedback for everything I've got from the aesthetic practice, and then we implement it all into the next generation of the device. So yeah, I'll be happy to share everything.
No, I would love. Yes, I think that'll be so good.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It was so nice talking to you.
Sharing it. I will be tagging you. And let's cover also, if, for example, the new client would want to see you, where are you located, how they can find you. And if, for example, estheticians want to, I don't know, maybe you are offering mentorship, or maybe they just want to find, how can they find you?
Yes, so you can book an appointment with my website, rsnskinco.com. You can also find me on Instagram at RSN Skin Co. Also on TikTok, same thing at RSN Skin Co. You can book an appointment through there. I do hands-on extraction training in studio. You could come to me, or I can come to you if you are local. I also have a subscription through Instagram that you can subscribe to, where I, have so much content on there, so much videos. I have breakdowns of like my extraction prep, how I, different types of acne, what I like to do for that. And then I also offer mentorship calls for estheticians that need help with like facial menus, or their website, or like how, they need to obtain whatever, business license, just any question they can pick my brain. You can do a mentorship call for an hour, and we can go over all that stuff. So those are the different things that I have so far.
So how would they reach out to you? Through Instagram, TikTok, or directly?
Both Instagram, TikTok, or through my website.
Perfect.
All three.
I have a couple of candidates whom I will be recommending you already after this.
Yes.
So get ready to expect more calls.
Thank you so much.
Rosanna.
It was so nice talking to you. I love you guys. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye, Oha.
Bye.